Welcome to Inside the Wires, hands down the best podcast in all of racket sports. Listener discretion may be advised for a younger audience.
All right, we're coming back with one of the last shows of the season. The women's national champs are on with us today. We've got Lynn, Kiro, Macie Medeiros, fresh off their win at nationals, and have a great conversation planned. Unfortunately, Ben's a bit under the weather, so R and I are taking care of it today. Enjoy the show.
Material.
Oh my God.
See? They should put that shit on the Paddle documentary. That would
No.
be interesting.
We went out with Louis, okay? We left Louis in charge. That just would
Jesus.
tell us to it.
Yeah, Teddy O'Brien's.
Teddy O'Brien's, that's right.
Teddy
Such fun.
O'Brien's.
Yeah.
Teddy, is that Libertyville?
No.
We licked the Liberty Bell, yes.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Listen, you went out with Louis. I'm surprised you didn't get on a private plane and wake up in France the next morning or something with Louis.
Got arrested.
Yeah. It was a Irish pub that somehow had club music. It was fantastic.
You know what we're gonna do since we're gonna put this part on YouTube? We got to cut in the dance scene. I think that we saw.
Oh yeah, I think Lynn's dancing should be on there.
Oh, absolutely. We got to cut.
On where?
Ben didn't see that.
YouTube.
I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
it. I
Yeah,
saw it.
we got.
How
cut
did
that in.
everyone see that? And like,
I
Macie
didn't even
texted
see
me,
it.
and everyone was texting me, "What happened to the video? Why did it go down?" I'm like, "Watch video. The video of you having a good time." And I was like, "How did everyone see that?"
It was posted on
reported.
Instagram.
Yeah, but it was like on my Instagram and Louis, and then he deleted it in the morning. I'm surprised so many people saw it.
Take it down.
You'd be amazed at who's up at 3 or 4 in the morning when you post stuff.
Yes, that's true. or who hasn't gone to bed yet?
That's
All right.
true.
All right, are you sticking around with us, Ben? Now?
No, I'm gonna jump out. I feel like crap, so I
You're leaving?
apologize. Yeah,
Hey,
I
Ben,
just-
you wanna go for a
beer? I would love to go for a beer. I am gonna go. I'm gonna take an not an Advil. Why am I lying? I'm gonna go home, take an edible, and fall asleep.
There you go.
Wait, did anyone hear that comment? I think when I was watching the match back, Jerry and Brad were talking about like gummies. Did you hear that comment?
Yeah,
Not
Brad was
that
like,
kind of
"Oh,
gummies."
Jerry's gonna
Right.
take gummies, not that kind of gummies.
Not that kind of
right.
gummy.
Uh-huh.
just so you know, we're recording this, by the way. So
Just the
this is
Swedish
already being
fish.
recorded. Yeah, oh, I'm sure.
I'm
This
gonna
is-
go home. I'm gonna go home and have a Swedish fish.
So funny enough, my members are very, very nice, and they actually did get me a huge thing of like real candy gummies for winning nationals with with a big Rice Krispie treat in the middle, and it had Rolling Hills Country Club printed on it. It was pretty cool.
Oh,
That's
Rainbow
awesome.
style gummies. Yeah.
that's so cute.
Shout out
very
to
nice.
Rolling Hills ladies.
Absolutely. Well, this is all behind the scenes of Inside the Wires. So this doesn't go in the audio portion. This goes on the video portion where we can see it, you know,
Love it.
and get the background on it. So, all right, Art, do you want to open
right.
up?
So I'm out of here, guys.
hang
It's
on
great
one
to see
second.
you, and
All right, Ben.
congratulations.
Hang
You
on,
guys are
Ben,
awesome.
hang on one
Better.
second. Hang on one second. This is my kid.
Roman.
Oh, he looks
hi.
just like you.
My gosh. Nice to meet you.
Wow.
Finally.
How's
He just
Nashville?
he was awake at 3:30 in the morning with me as well, and my wife. We just came home from Nashville today, so he just
Yeah,
had hockey
you're-
practice, so he's exhausted. Time for
Oh,
bed.
how was it?
It was a hockey tournament, so we won pretty much every game except for the last when we were in the finals. We lost in double overtime, 3-2.
After they scored a goal that was disallowed, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
Damn
Wow.
referees.
you know,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
refs.
The
Next
national
thing,
Those refs.
referees.
next
Yeah.
thing they're gonna do, they're gonna call footfalls. That's what, you know.
Tell you.
Did
Oh,
we know
right.
that Noah
bit,
was
yeah.
practically a professional hockey player?
He's getting there. He's getting there.
That was
Almost.
When you see him get hit with a paddle ball in the head, he doesn't even flinch. It's unbelievable.
it doesn't
That's
play.
how we
He doesn't
practice.
even move.
So he's a hockey
That's how we
player.
practice.
It's
Crazy.
Yeah.
Have
No,
you
what do
seen
you-
that? Have you seen that video that Platform Files put out?
Yeah.
300.
Oh,
364 days
344
until the-
days or whatever.
Yeah, that was
364
me.
days.
Yeah. That was
was
me.
you?
That was me smashing Matt McClure in the nuts with the balls. Yeah. Yeah.
That was good.
All right, I'm off to bed. Congratulations, guys, and
Thanks.
have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah,
Thanks.
guys. Bye.
All
Ben.
right.
Kick it off.
See you, bud.
No, my brain is fried.
I've been up since 3:32. But every day. Come on. All right. That's all right. I got this. I'm used to
All
it
right.
though. That's the difference.
That's the difference,
I've,
right?
I've got a.
He's
I've
a
got
trained
Celsius.
veteran.
I've got a
You're a pro.
Celsius. I had a bang and I had a
Celsius.
coffee today. I think I've got about 800 milligrams of caffeine in me so far. Going strong. It's be a late night. All right, here we go. Let's let me hold on. Let me see what we got. All right, so we've got anything you want to make sure we touch on? We've got a whole list of questions for you just to give you a quick hit on what we're going to talk about. Tell us about yourselves, your backgrounds. You guys start with different partners at the beginning of the season. How'd you get together? Did you click right away? Any tips for club players or playing with a new partner? What you need to do to adapt? Plenty of teams that have two players with good skill. What makes a good team? Walk us through the season together. We remember a prediction on Inside the Wires. I don't remember that. Of course, I don't remember what happened.
Lynn
yesterday.
remembers.
Okay.
And
Ben Joe made a prediction.
yeah.
I remember that.
Walk us through nationals. So sorry, I typed this out and then obviously R added to it after I left. Why was Sven yelling right now before every single point during the finals? Is it true you have a team manager who travels with you and does meal prep? Thoughts on PTI? Are you two doing a camp together before next season? Is Benihana a good or bad pre-match meal?
Oh my God.
What does
Don't
the
even
future?
get me started.
What does the future hold? Mixed nationals, and who beat you at Owl's Nest 2 years ago?
Don't even. No. Me and Mark beat you and Leon 7-6.
In
I
fairness,
don't know. I don't remember that. I don't remember that way.
He didn't remember that one, shockingly.
all right, and then we've got some rapid fire questions like favorite drink, favorite meal, favorite TV show, all that kind of good stuff. So that's easier stuff. So anything else you want to make sure we touch on, or is that all good? We'll try
Sounds good to me.
to let you get to sleep at a reasonable hour here.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. All right, Ara, hop in whenever you want. I'm gonna put the chat on. So if you want to talk or say something
yeah.
intelligent, you go ahead and do that. Where's my chat?
See, I can't see the chat.
That's okay. I can't either.
Beat me and Mark. I
don't know what happened.
Now.
Lynn's double checking. She's like, no, it didn't
Comments,
happen.
all. I don't know what's I don't know what happened there. Okay, well, you can text me or something.
Okay.
Text me if you have anything exciting to tell me. Okay, all right, here we go. Lost it. All right, here we go. All right, welcome back to Inside the Wires. Very excited tonight to have the new and current women's champs, Lynn Kiro and Macie Medeiros. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about all the excitement of some of your matches this year, including the finals, but kind of hopping into it, tell us about yourselves. I mean, I think Macie, you've been around for a little bit, won a championship a few years ago. Lynn, obviously newer on the scene and as champ, making quite a first impression, but give us your background if you could.
Well, I started playing paddle back in 2017 when I started teaching over at the Country Club of Darien, and fell in love with the sport right away. Started playing, didn't play tournaments my first year teaching, and then played tournaments and ended up, I was lucky enough to win nationals at CCD, the club that I coached at in 2020 with Marcelo Rodesno. And I've been playing ever since. And then lucky enough, Lynn and I got partnered up this year, and it was a dream team. So, and here we are.
Well, you got to go back even further than that, though. The pride of Evansville, Indiana, right?
That's right. The pride of Evansville, Indiana. How can I forget Indiana?
Which is a hotbed of paddle players, Evansville.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They have no idea what the sport is. But it's great because my brother, whenever we're in tournaments, he'll turn it on at his brewery, and he'll have like a whole 2 people interested, and everyone else, and those 2 people are even saying, what kind of a sport is this? We have no idea what this is.
Nice.
And he's like, I don't know the rules either, but we're watching it. And but just grew up playing tennis in Evansville, Indiana, played junior circuit, and ended up playing for SMU down in Dallas for college, and started teaching in the summers during college, and that's how I ended up in the Northeast.
So how did you get to the Northeast from from college in Dallas, and being from the Midwest, what brought you out east then?
I did like a internship the summer after my freshman year, and did schooling as well. So I got kind of a little burnt out. So I was like, okay, let me take a summer break. Let me go teach tennis, make some money, relax, and then I'll get back to the intense adulting, after that. And I said, no, I love teaching. Let's keep doing this instead. Let's keep having some fun. So I kept teaching, and then got offered a full job after graduating college, and I never left. Met my husband and stayed here.
How did you get into paddle?
I said I wanted to teach tennis year round, and basically Carl Levnat told me, well, you kind of have to learn how to teach paddle. I said, okay, what's that? And he said, you're gonna learn. I said, okay, let me try.
And now where are you at now for everybody watching and listening?
And now I'm the director over at Rolling Hills Country Club. I just got that job about 2 months ago. And last year I was the director at Golf Club of Avon up in Avon, Connecticut.
And Rolling Hills is where in Connecticut? Is that Wilton?
Wilton, Connecticut. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I got it. That reminds me, we have to talk about the Wilton Open.
The
That
Wilton
just
Cup.
finished, too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's like
Ricky Sanford
I-
won that this weekend,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's like it may be the biggest charity event, purely
Yeah.
charity event, I think, out there.
Huge.
I've got a note on it I've got to talk about. So
Yeah, they used some of our courts this weekend. It was a great event.
yeah, sound like it. Lynn, you also from Evansville, Indiana. Is that where you guys met?
Right. No, actually, all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. You can't really hear it in my accent. Accent left probably about 2 years after I arrived in the country, which is kind of tragic, but oh well. So I got recruited to play at Texas Tech. So I played tennis there for 4 years. Then I taught in Austin for a little bit after that. Went back to South Africa for a couple months, and then came back to the States and did my grad school and taught the women's tennis team over at Wagner College in Staten Island. And then my first summer there, I was looking for summer jobs and reached out to Mark Innes. Since I had worked for him while I was still in school in San Francisco. And then I worked with him at Glen Ridge. And then once he left and started the My Paddle stuff, I took over as director there. But he really kind of introduced me to the sport of paddle and would go out with me every week on a weekly basis. Like on a Thursday evening, we just have some high noons and play paddle. Hated the sport at first, I'm not even gonna lie. Like dreaded it because I just for the life of me could not get the screens. It took me a while to get the screens. And then once I got the screens, I was like, okay, I can dig it. I can kind of do this. And then I think I played my first tournament. I actually played my first tournament ever with Macie. This is the crazy.
That's true.
I think like what Marcella had maybe just given birth.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was the witch and I was clueless and I was like so happy to be out there competing. I don't want to say we got our asses handed to us. We won a match and then we lost to Florinana.
We lost to Florinana. It was like 3-3. Yeah.
3
It was not close.
Exactly. And then after that, I started playing with Vanessa that season. And then I played with Lisa at the beginning of this season. And obviously she was pregnant.
Vanessa Petrini, right?
Vanessa Petrini.
For people who don't remember, don't
yeah,
follow
Vanessa
along,
Petrini. Sorry, I should have said the last name. And then
Yeah.
started playing with Lisa Lalich. And I think she was maybe like 5 or 6 months pregnant at the time when we stopped playing. And then it was funny because Sven and I were actually going through those texts last night between Macie and I of how it kind of came about. And she was kind of like beating around the bush and she was like, she's like, I was like, hey, I didn't see you in Chicago. Like, where were you? She's like, oh, I'm bummed to have missed it. Are you playing? She asked me, are you playing Detroit? Or you asked me, am I playing something?
I
was like,
did. Yeah.
like, I'm playing with Lisa, da da da. And then I got back from that and I was like, hey, are you playing this? She was like, no. And then I was like, do you want to play? And she was like, let's do it. So Sven and I were just having a good laugh at that about how the whole thing happened. But I was like kind of scared of getting rejected by her.
Mhm.
I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna shoot my shot. The worst
Meanwhile,
you
I'm
can say is
scheming,
no.
scheming the entire time.
And
That's
yeah,
good.
and then yeah, it just
So-
kind of worked out. And you know, the first time we played, it was super organic, which I really loved. And of course, I was there like freaking out with Sven. I was like, Sven, like, I hope she wants to play with me more than just one tournament.
God, this is like dating,
After
isn't
we won
it?
the Long Island
I-
tournament, mind you, after we won the Long Island tournament, I was like, Sven, what do you think? Do you think she'll want to play with me again? Because we had only committed to that in Detroit.
Yeah, that in Detroit.
We hadn't spoken about the second half of the season, so I was kind of freaking out. And then after we lost to Gabby and Roxy in the semis, you know, we had those match points, and I like kind of shit the bed, and I was like, oh, Sven, she's like never gonna want to play with me again.
Yeah. Now hold on. Meanwhile, the entire time I'm like, okay, I've got pregnant time, right? I've got pregnant time. That's my time to show my worth. Okay, I've got time.
That's funny. But both of you were nervous about the other one, right? That's funny.
Yeah.
So for people who are listening that aren't aware of the relationship, Lynn's mentioned Sven a few times. So she has failed to mention that Sven Burish is Lynn's boyfriend, who Sven obviously won nationals last year as well.
You know,
So
he's okay. He's
not bad.
He's only a former national champ. You know, it's
Pretty
yeah,
average.
you know.
Listen, just watch your thumb. When you're going for an overhead that's your ball, watch your thumb, because he goes for it no matter what.
Coach
So-
Sven Joe.
Can you tell
What
us
a
how
legend.
it was playing alongside Sven?
What's it like flying
Yes,
alongside
tell us,
Sven?
Noah, please.
Honest
Well,
feedback. Honest
You know,
feedback.
what's it like? It's great. I mean, he gave me the outside area of the court, like the out of bounds part, the green part there, and everything else was his, which was fine, except for I'm going for the overhead that's about to hit me in the head, put my paddle up, and he yells mine after I yelled mine first for a ball that was going to hit me if I didn't move, and then proceeds to hit me in the thumb.
Not your ball, Noah.
It was apparently
Not
not,
your
in
ball. Not your
hindsight.
ball.
No, like, but my thumb, this is 2.5 months later, the feeling is just coming back into my thumb now, finally. So
If Sven can get to it, it's not your ball.
It's
that's-
not.
That's the rule.
listen, I gotta tell you, people have asked me what it's like playing with Sven, and it was great. And I'm super appreciative he did that with me. But I do have to tell you, it was obviously wet conditions, kind of like it was at nationals, and the whole time thinking, don't hurt yourself. Don't fall down and hurt yourself. And I'm gonna get blamed. You're gonna be out for the season, pull a groin, and it's my
Like,
fault.
please.
Just I don't care if we win. Don't go for the ball. It's all right.
Yep.
And it didn't seem to phase him. He went for every ball, and it didn't phase him. But so yes, it was fun. Enough about that. So Lynn, you've got a good training partner to hit with on a regular basis. That's helpful to learn game. And for background, Macie, you said you started playing in 17, right?
Yes.
About
17.
6 years. Lynn, you effectively started playing like 15, 16 months ago.
Yes,
fair?
I would say
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
Like after Chicago last year, basically after Chicago Charities last season is when you started playing, I think.
After
you didn't play-
Chicago last year.
Yeah, because you didn't
You
play
started
Charities.
playing which last year?
The Witch, and then that was it. And then my
Yeah.
next one was Westchester in January.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
like,
you
my
guys,
yeah, my
you
actual-
guys both won nationals in your second year playing.
That's
together,
right.
Look at
That's
that.
right.
That's amazing.
That is amazing, Macie.
Sven
I guess
called
I
it
didn't
though.
realize.
Sven called it.
Yeah.
Well, he called it where? On Inside the
Called
Wires.
it on
You heard it
inside
here
the
first.
wires. Like, but shh, don't give him that ego boost, because he loves to know that he's always right. But I will say, I will give this one to him. He
Is
called
Sven
it a
making
year
any,
ago.
is he making any predictions for next year?
I don't know. You'll have to invite him back on Inside the
All right.
Wires for that.
We'll have to do that. So you've and Macie, I didn't realize that was only your second year play. I mean, I remember at Darien when you won. It was an amazing crowd, amazing event, amazing play. Everything was fantastic. I had no idea that was your second year playing. So that must have been even better to do it in front of your home crowd and everything else, and just starting.
Yeah. So it was because it was my second year playing and I knew this year was Lynn's second year playing, I was always kind of in the back of my head. I'm like, man, wouldn't that be cool? You know,
Extra pressure. Not only you're hoping she wants to play with you again, but you know,
I
all
know.
that pressure
See?
on top of
Gotta
it.
prove
See?
myself.
That's good. So you mentioned that obviously you guys sound like you gelled pretty well together. What you know, talk about that a little bit as you come from playing with different partners. So what's it like as you get with somebody new? How do you adapt? Like what's the key to adapting to somebody as a new partner?
I think just a ton of communication. Like we talked about, like the positioning was a little bit different for me, like in the beginning versus what I was used to doing with Marcella. But I liked this new positioning better. Like I thought it was something different. I thought it was something where we could see a little bit more opportunity. So I really liked that, but it took a little bit of adjusting to get used to. So like first tournament, first few practices, I'm like talking to myself a little bit while we're playing, and Lynn looks over me. She's like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Are you all right?" And she's like, "Is this normal?" I'm like, I promise I'm not this weird all the time.
Just because
This
I
is
never
just
thought
temporary.
that she would like ever do that. I just
This is
never thought, you know.
this is temporary. I'm like, this is new positioning. I'm like reminding myself as we play. But
That was pretty
I'd say,
funny. I think, sorry to interrupt. I think,
Go ahead.
what was that?
Yeah.
That was like Long Island, our
Yeah.
first match.
yeah,
It was like we would be at the net and the ball would come. She would be like, shift to the left, middle, shift to the right. And I was like, maybe she's telling me because, you know, I'm still new to it. And I was like, wait, like, are you telling me to shift? Just out of curiosity. And she was like, no, I'm actually telling myself. I was like, oh my gosh.
Got to use your inside voice, Macie.
inside voice. I don't have an inside voice, unfortunately.
But I think, yeah, you're right. Like the communication. And so I think a big one for me is just honestly liking the person off court. I think that's really big, is I want to have a decent relationship with the person off court, that they're a decent human being to be able to, you know, be next to them and go through the whole match with them and fight through matches together. So I think that's definitely a big one for me.
And you want to be able to go dancing with them afterwards, right? Like,
That's
yeah.
true.
right?
Oh yeah, I
Makes it
love
much
that.
better.
We were, you know, it's so funny because we'll listen to this song called Medusa, called Bad Memories by Medusa. That's like our pre-match. It's on the pre-match playlist.
It's Noah's favorite. Noah loves that
Oh
song.
yeah, I have all their albums.
Do you actually like that?
I have never heard of that in my life.
No, because Medusa's coming to Brooklyn Mirage.
Oh.
I was like, Noah.
No idea.
So anyways, it's like after we win, we go out to Teddy O'Brien's and it's like, there's DJ there. And I go up to the guy. I was like, I really would like you to play the song. We just won a national title. You don't even know what the sport is. It's fine. But like, I just, you know, I want you to play the song. And he's like, yeah, you know, in order to play a song, you got to put some money in the tip jar or whatever. So I was like, oh, that's how it is. Anyways.
You dropped your medal in there and what?
Yeah,
There you
everything.
go.
So I put like a $5 bill in there. I was like, that's fine. And then I'm like, Macie, like the song comes on and we're just like jamming to
So
the
good.
song. I think that was
So
like
good.
my best memory from that night.
That was so good.
Catch the video on Instagram.
That's right.
It'll be reposted soon for 24 hours and then it's gone forever.
There we go.
Down.
So Macie, since you obviously had been playing longer than Lynn had when you got together, were you kind of doing more of the, I don't want to say coaching, but were you kind of more of the strategy or anything at that point? Or obviously, you know, Macie's got Bernard Showman, who's certainly claiming to be the inspiration behind her play, and you know, Lynn's got Sven. So you know, how did that part work?
No, I don't think necessarily it was one coaching the other. I think it was just like
Not
we
coaching,
had a
but
very
maybe
easy
strategy. You know,
no,
that
we
kind
had a
of stuff.
very easy time of telling each other what we thought about a certain situation, and we could talk through it and think like, this is we should have done this better, we should have done that better, which actually, like, even in which I thought was honestly the coolest thing, like one of the coolest things about playing together. Like, I'll miss something and I just kind of ask her, I was like, was that a ball I could drive? She was like, yeah, you're just too far back. I'm like, okay, great, done. Or she'll ask me something the same way, and that is like extremely helpful that we can kind of go back and forth in that regard.
Yeah.
Isn't the answer you can drive any ball?
No, Noah, I know that's
Oh.
what you believe, but no, unfortunately, no.
No, and actually, when we first started playing, I think I was asking, well, I put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm just usually that way as a person, but I think at the beginning I was kind of asking her a lot of questions because obviously I believe that I'm the least experienced person. She's won a national title. She's made a name for herself. So I really like didn't want to screw up for her. And then I think one time she told me, she was like, Lynn, I'll never get mad at you for missing a shot. And like after she told me that, I was like, oh, like I can breathe. But before that, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to miss a ball. And when she said that, I was like, okay, she's cool.
No, that's totally true. I will not.
So that made the biggest difference in the world for me.
No,
Lynn,
and
go ahead. Sorry.
that's because like for me, I know that's what I need out of a partner. So that way I have to give that same thing back. Right. And like, especially if you make the right choice and you miss all the time, it doesn't matter because you made the right choice and you're going to make it eventually. And with how like Lynn saying that she was nervous because I have more experience, but she's like so ridiculously talented that, I got to go back to the gym. Got to keep up. I got to go do some push-ups, some squats.
So Lynn, so what I heard from that conversation when Macie said, go ahead and have at it, it sounded like she was giving you free rein to bring the cutter out. That's what I heard.
I mean, look, I like I told you, I want to just do a week-long camp with you, Noah. Pre-season next year before we teach camps in Chicago, coming a week early and just doing cutters with you. You are the master of cutters.
Oh, come on.
One time I did cutters, I was with you on the court, and Sven hasn't been able to get me to do the cutter. You were the one who got me to do the cutters.
I think we got to get Noah on my paddle teaching the cutter.
Noah, sure. You do have some nasty spin, I will say. Yeah. He has some nasty spin.
It makes up for everything else I do so poorly. So that's all I got. But thank you. That's very nice of you. So kind of if you could walk through the season together. Now you talked kind of about some of the early tournaments, the Witch and Detroit. Kind of talk about the progression because it was interesting for me watching, really watching you guys progress. I mean, you had kind of success early on, and then seemed like in some of the bigger events, as you mentioned, you had match points, but you maybe didn't put it all together until maybe later in the season. But talk about kind of that progression through the events.
Lynn, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, like I will say this, when did we first start playing? We played Long Island, great result. We won the tournament. Then we went to Detroit. And like at that point, it's nice you're playing. It's like for me, I really had nothing to lose. We're a new team. We can really go out there swinging. Great scenario. And then it's like, the semifinal against Roxy and Gabby, it was like, we get to a point where we're just like steamrolling, kind of everything's going well. We had a great quarterfinal before that against Carrie and Lauren. I'm sure Ara was, rooting against me in that one too. But it's okay. Still a real paddle girl at heart. It's fine. And so then it's like, you kind of get to those key moments where I think the game becomes very mental. It's like we can all, we all have the shots. We're pretty talented. We know what to do, but then it gets pretty mental. And like for me, that was the first time I had experienced something like that. And it was really kind of hard to overcome. And like, I don't think Macie, she stayed up and watched that match. Like I didn't watch that match probably for 2 months because I couldn't look back on that. Sven kept on trying to get me to watch the match. He's like, are you ready? I'm like, I'm not ready. So, but again, when I look back on that, it's just like, you almost feel like those things need to happen in order for you to grow or get better, and it kind of, after that, what did we play? What was the next tournament after Detroit? It was
Boston.
It kind of happened again. We were playing Morgan Socorro. We beat Gabby and Roxy in the quarters.
Saved match points.
Yeah,
very
6
close.
love. Yeah, 6 love up, maybe 2 love, 40 love, and lose like 5 straight points. So, but I've always found it interesting. It's like back in my tennis playing days when I played junior tennis, pro tennis, college tennis, I've never seen momentum shifts like there are in paddle. It's just like it takes a split second for you to, lose focus, and then the other team is back in.
Why do you think that is? What's unique about paddle that makes? I mean, because I think a lot of people know about that, right? That things can turn, and all of a sudden it goes like 180 degrees. But why do you think that's unique with paddle versus tennis?
I'm honestly still trying to figure that out. I don't know if it's because, and this might be silly, but I feel like the court is smaller, things can happen a little quicker. You have one serve, for instance, you make a fault that's like, oh, gives your opponent some motivation, or that they can get back into it. So I think that's definitely, especially the one serve. It's just like, I think points can be super long in paddle, but they can also be super quick. Like things can turn really quickly.
And I think also in tennis, it's very like you don't necessarily have to intentionally slow things down, because especially like we all grow up playing singles for the most part. You go, you walk to get the ball. It like takes a while. You towel off. Whereas here, if you don't intentionally take a second to slow it down, it can ramp up really quickly.
Right.
So make that a teachable moment for the club player. What do you do if you're a club player and you kind of feel momentum slipping away or turning, or what kind of strategies would you recommend to kind of change that and stop that momentum from going the wrong direction?
I would recommend just take a second and talk to your partner. Either, you can be all tactical and you can say, hey, what's the plan? What exactly are we doing here? What's the reset? Or you can say, hey, what are you doing for lunch later this week? Just slow it down, relax a little bit, crack a joke, and move on.
What about calling for a rain delay? Oh, sorry. I had to say it. I'm sorry.
We all knew it was going to come up at some point. I mean, it's like, it's the same thing as in tennis. It's what do players do? The injury timeouts. It's almost the same thing. You feel yourself losing. You've won the first set, you lose 4 straight games. You're trying to figure out how to slow down the momentum maybe. So it's like, it happens, but again, I've had so many people come up to me this past week and say, we really, really were a fan of how you and Macie stayed out there. But all we could think about in that position or in that moment was just that we don't want to step off this court because we want to stay warm. Like, we're in a groove. We're trying to keep the groove going. Right. So
I think you guys gained a lot of fans by doing that. Everybody was talking about it on the live stream, and people were texting back and forth. Like, I think that it was a big moment.
Where it's like we just wanted to keep hitting balls.
Yeah. No, and like I was, I'm not from here. I'm from South Africa. Pretty warm-blooded person. It's like, if I would have stepped off the court, I would have been freezing. And it's like my left hand was freezing. I was like, I just need to keep moving to stay warm. That was my only goal. So
yeah, that was amazing. That was good stuff. Or, plus if you didn't, there would have been dead air as people were looking at nobody on the court and having to listen to the announcers kill, 10 minutes as well. So that was good. And the good news is it didn't work. I mean, you talk about,
they should have coached
break
they should have
momentum.
coached us on our form. I could have learned from that. Come on, Brad, help me.
Right.
There you go. Well, it didn't slow your momentum when it was 3-0, I think, when that happened. In the second set.
4-0.
And you kept rolling. Obviously, it was 6-0, right, in the second set.
So
just rolled through, and then obviously the third set as well. That was that was something. For people who might have missed that. That was some national.
Like, when I think back, even our match in the quarterfinals when we played Lauren and Carrie, it was snowing. I think even harder.
Same condition. It was
you would look up to serve and like the snow's coming into your eyes. And at some point I think I missed like 3 volleys in a row. And I was like, Macie was like, are you going to stay back? I'm like, no, I'm going to keep coming in. That was silly. I'm so stubborn. I'm like, I'm just missing it because the snow's in my house, but I got the volley. And then boom, miss it again. Macie, are you sure you're going to not stay back? No, I'm going to keep coming.
But you guys had to deal with like snow, rain. You had to deal with like the steam coming off the ground. I mean, it was hotter. It was what? I mean,
fun,
you guys had to deal with.
But it was one of those things where you're looking, you're like, it was tough to play. It's not easy. But then you look around, you're like, how cool is this? Like, it's beautiful snowing, and the pictures came out.
Pictures are amazing.
Oh my gosh, let's not even go there. Shout out to Garrison Block for all the pictures.
Seriously, Garrison, those photos were amazing.
They were like scenes from a movie. Like with the steam coming out, I was like,
so cool. You're like, you know what? How lucky are we in this moment? So cool.
Yeah. It was almost like we kind of just embraced it, I think.
So maybe we skipped through a little bit, but as you look back at some of your matches that you had, it's kind of a question of like, do you look at yourself as the hunter or the hunted? Do you, when you're watching your match, are you watching what you do right or wrong? Are you watching your opponents to say, okay, against these players, we need to do this or this, or kind of what's your focus when you're reviewing your own matches or when you're thinking about your next opponents? Are you worried about what you're doing or what they're doing, or obviously some combination of both?
It's definitely both. I think we notice situations that happen against, certain teams more than other, or not certain teams more than others, but like a certain situation happens against a team versus another situation happens. And so we're like, okay, well, this is how we can tighten this up and things like that.
Yeah. And I think just when we look back at matches, I usually look to Macie for that stuff because she's really smart when it comes to that. I'm kind of still getting there, but we'll have a game plan going into the match, and halfway through the match we'll win the first set and I'll be like, Macie, should we switch it? You're like, why would you switch it? What did it work?
Yeah, what's the answer to that question usually?
But that's just how I am. It's just like, I don't know why I think that way, but I'm like, okay, we're cruising, and then it kind of gets, it's not that it's boring, but it's almost sometimes too easy that you want to try something else when you really shouldn't. You just stick to the winning game plan. But yeah.
So, and it's also kind of like, Noah, you asked like how we saw that we progressed throughout the season. It was like, we started to get a little bit of success, and then I feel like we almost, because like Lynn has so much firepower, that forehand's a bomb. And then, I'm an aggressive person, generally speaking. So so we like had some firepower, and then we like learned how to play slow a little bit too. So like, I feel like we had to evolve through that, and then now we're even like, okay, play slow and then play quick and then play slow again and play quick. So, and it's fun to be able to turn that on a dime.
And like watching back at matches, I also think our transition game just like skyrocketed a little bit. And I think that also came a lot from me because, when I first started playing paddle, I was very, like, I loved playing doubles, especially in college. So very comfortable being at the net, love my volleys, overheads. But in the back, not as comfortable as at the net. So I always wanted to be at the net. And once I kind of was okay with playing from the back as well, I think that was really kind of where it turned, because you'll kind of see when we watch the matches, the commentators are always like, they're not going away, they're going to stay in it. And I think that was the biggest thing for me personally, was just like being okay with just staying there all day and just making balls until I get the right one. So.
What was interesting to me is I think a lot of times you'll hear people talk about, you have an alpha and a beta, and maybe one person is the offensive person, the other person is defensive. You both have a lot of offense, right? I mean, it was fun watching your matches because there was just balls were being bombed all the time. It was
There's no safe spots on that court. It
was crazy.
Where do you hit it?
But you never know when Macie's going to hit a backhand at 200 miles an hour.
It was just entertaining to watch. It was something. It was something.
Yeah.
Ara, have at it.
Yeah. So while I was watching, all I kept hearing during the finals was some lunatic on the side just kept every point just kept screaming, right now, right now. Who was that guy?
I did not realize it was that loud until I went back and watched.
I did.
When I was playing, I think like I filter out a lot of stuff that's going on around me. Right. I heard him say it maybe once or twice. And when we go back and watch the tape, it's like, holy cow. It's like every point.
I was texting him. I was texting him between every point saying, right now, Sven, right now.
But the best part is that, and because my husband pointed this out to me, because it's dark out there, we couldn't see anything. He pauses the video. He's like, you see that large blue thing on the side? He's like, that's Sven's like makeshift poncho and a hat. He's like this very large blue man saying, right now. But my favorite is, I actually watched it back. This is my favorite. I laughed at this so much. So I think it was one of the big points. I think I ended up actually hitting hitting Roxy with a backhand drive, which Roxy knows I love her. I'm sorry, she knows. Okay, so I go ahead, I get all excited, and then I hear in the background, you hear Sven yell, "Take it easy, take it easy."
No, he's the real MVP. We will say
Oh,
that.
he is the real MVP.
No,
He's
him,
wait.
Ryan
Wait.
as well. You know, they kind of watching our matches, the supporters too. Thank you so much. It's like the crappiest weather, and they're just sitting out there, embracing it, freezing their asses off. But it's like, you know, just watching the match and the weather delay. I heard some feedback from them. They were like, "Oh no, there's gonna be a weather delay. Like we're freezing out here, and now they're not playing." So that I think kind of affected the audience a little bit. But I think, you know, they're such troopers. So.
Lindsay Urchel and Vic Cran stood out there the entire time.
And it
Lindsay
was, I
Vic
don't
said
know,
the
if, you know, I don't know if people could hear it on the live stream, but they were saying hoops. I
Yeah.
think at some point it was misconstrued. You know,
It-
Gabby and Roxy thought they were saying boo.
It did sound like that at first.
It
but then
sounded like boo.
it sounded like hoops afterwards. They're like, because I was
Okay.
like, why are people booing? Who would do that? It's Kay Bunny over there.
Hey, Bonnie.
That's right, Casey.
Oh,
And again, for clarity, for people who don't know, hoops is for Macie's big hoop earrings that's
Mhm.
her
Got
trademark.
red ones on this evening.
That's awesome. Now, so Lynn, when you talk about an MVP of Sven was the MVP, I would maybe question that because I understand you have a team manager who does all your meal prep for you when you go on the road. Is that
so
true?
what people don't understand is it's not, you know, we have a whole team.
It's an
behind.
entourage.
And as
That's-
cliche as it sounds, there are a shit ton of people in our circle. There is Ryan Medeiros, who is our team manager,
Mhm.
and chauffeur, and personal chef.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
it's like, you know, he was kind of on the down low this season, made his appearance at Short Hills, and then also came. Did he come to Philly? He didn't come to Philly.
He
It was-
didn't come to Philly, but he came to Short Hills and Nationals,
Short
and
Hills
he
and
he meal
Nationals.
prepped for us at
Oh
Nationals.
my God, the nicest guy. Like, honestly, I hadn't met Ryan until Short Hills. I met him then. I was like, oh my God, this guy's so cool. I can see why him and Macie are together. And then Nationals, I was like, holy shit, this guy is like another level. Like one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. Just amazing, taking us everywhere. Just
Mhm.
anything you needed would get. Like, I drink coconut water on court all the time. It's like my thing. But he was just like getting me coconut water when I didn't have any, and he knows that I like the pineapple flavor, so he was just on point with everything. So
Getting
Ryan,
Christmas gifts, you know, the competition is not good. I lose every year. I lose to Ryan every year. That's okay though.
so who else is there? There's
He's-
Larry Cornaccia.
Larry,
Oh yeah.
Larry, Macie and I are Larry's Angels. That's what we
That's
call
right.
it. Larry started watching us when we played in Long Island and has been practically to every tournament since. I think
Larry
he
flew to
started-
Chicago to watch. Amazing.
Chicago, he's there all the time. Larry, there's Bernie Skuman,
Mm-hmm.
you know, coach, mental coach as well a little bit. He's at
Yep.
every match, even though he's playing in the tournament. I don't know how he does it. He finds a way to come and watch us.
He does.
Sven,
Sven
the other
had
coach.
worked with us like what, once a week, and we
Yes, Sven
with
works
him and Diego were hit with us as well.
Diego
Uh,
and Miss Love are our hitting partners. They play matches with us. And so it kind of got to the point where we were playing with them before tournaments. You know, we would do well in the tournament. So we would be like, we got to keep this going because this is what's working. So it
Mhm.
would be Diego and Miss Love. Who else is there? There's Sasha Burris.
Sasha,
He
statistician,
He is, stats all over the stats. It's
sent
like,
us stats after what was
yeah,
after.
Philly. After we
Yeah.
played, who did we play? Yeah, Flora and Anna. He's
Yeah.
like, this is unforced errors. This is, you know, what you did well. This is crazy.
And
He's all
Carl-
about the paddle. So it's like a full entourage, which is what
Yeah.
people don't realize. But this is
And then
what's-
Carl Levenot, remote coach, and drills with me up in Connecticut. So he, after every match, I can call him and ask him what to do. So we've got a lot of input.
I had him on Football Friday this week though, but we won't get into
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
You know, Lynn, I kind of feel like maybe I deserve a little bit of credit for your
How
success.
can I
mean, 'cause-
forget? So I think there's a part of me that's still a little salty because of the way you were with me at the beginning of the season. But no, Ara from the Real Paddle Boys is also a real one. Every time I win a match, he's in my DMs on Instagram. He doesn't
Oh,
text
yeah.
me. He doesn't have my number for some reason. Okay, he should have my number by now. He DMs me on Instagram. All these fire emojis, clapping emojis.
That's not bad,
heart
right?
Emojis.
Lots of emojis.
So
I'm an
Mara
emoji guy.
is, I will say he's definitely one of our biggest fans, and I think that's one of the coolest things after we win big matches. And I just go into my DMs, and Ara is right there sliding into the DMs. So Ara, we love you too.
All right, you have always
Shout
made
out
me
to the
feel
Real
really good about
Paddle Boys.
myself. Thank you very
Aw,
much.
I
Yeah, let's
try
not
my
forget
best.
Leon as well. Leon Garabet, like Monster Boy as well. We love our Monster
Paddle
Boy.
boys.
Paddle Boy, sorry. Sorry. That was like kind of engraved in my head. So
Yeah.
All right, kind of taking that as we lead into next year, everyone's doing camps. You guys have some camps coming up for next year?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah?
For sure, we'll do some next year.
All right.
we're thinking of the brand right now, but
Mhm.
now we're kind of going through
But
that.
for sure, we'll do some.
I like it. All right, sounds good. Well, when you have something to announce, let us know and we'll plug you.
Yes, sir.
That sounds good.
So shifting gears just a little bit, we asked this question to all the pros. What are your thoughts on PTI?
Lynn?
Look, I've always been a firm believer in, pros and cons to the PTI. And it's like, I think of the PTI just because I think I was a senior in college when UTR came out, Universal Tennis Rating, because that obviously wasn't all around. They would, look at your USTA rating, or for us internationals, they would look at your ITF ranking. And then the UTR came out, and it was like, and I had just, after my senior year, then I started coaching after that. And I was kind of immersed in the coaching world as well when the UTR was out. And I just kind of hated it because all of my players were thinking about what their UTR was. And now when they would go play matches, that's all they could think of. It wasn't really about playing the matches, but, and so I kind of think the same thing with paddle a little bit, is that people are so concerned about their UTRs. And I think I'm that way too, because it's funny how gears have shifted. Every time Macie and I win, I take a screenshot of my PTI. I'm like, Macie, we're in the single digits now. Like, when do you think we'll get to the negative? So no, I think there's definitely, it's nice. It's nice to have a rating. I think ratings are good. And I think especially being a pro, it kind of makes your life a little easier, when you're trying to put players in lineups, just so
Sure.
people don't think you're crazy as to why you're making these decisions. But then obviously it has the downside where that's all that consumes people's minds. But I think PTIs are good. I think it's good to have a rating system. There should be a rating system in place.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I think we should just really, I think for club players, it should just be looked at from a different perspective or with a different approach.
Mhm.
Mhm.
No, I completely agree, because I agree, like, as a pro and running a program, I think PTI is wonderful. I think the whole idea behind it all is wonderful. I love being able, I used it for my men's member guest. Everyone got ranked by their PTI, and that's how the seedings happened. It's easy, it's done. But like everyone said, I think there are, like any system, there's probably some kinks in the system that still need to be worked out. But I actually sat and talked to Tiernan about it at nationals, and she explained to me a little bit more, like the methodology. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong, but
No.
behind it, and how it actually matters how much you win. It's all about expectations, and it actually helped me understand it a little bit more. She even sent me a video to watch. It's apparently a 5-minute video that actually explains it all, which I guarantee you 90% of the players who don't like it haven't seen things like that. And because I don't even fully understand it, I just,
Yeah, no, makes sense. Okay, we got to switch gears here because our questions are not in a very good order. But what does the future hold here? Obviously, you're ready for next season, but we've got mixed nationals coming up this weekend. Are both of you playing mixed nationals?
we are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ready for all those cutters.
And who are you
City.
both playing with?
I'm gonna play with MC Visser.
Nice.
And
Nice.
Lynn's obviously
Lumberjack.
playing with Sven.
Paul
Yeah, that's
Bunyan.
right.
Yeah.
Playing
there you
with
go.
Svenny, say a prayer for me, please. And
Wait,
just pray
is-
that I'm still in a relationship come Saturday. Come
So,
Saturday.
so Lynn, I've told my story about getting hitting the thumb by him, but is it true or not true? Did Sven take one in the face from you one time, or
He
at least
did.
one time?
You did twice.
In two different racket sports, right?
Two different sports. So it
Yeah.
happened back in, I think, September or October. We were playing this Atlantic City pickleball tournament. Like, we did great in that tournament. I think we ended up coming like 4th place, but I totally went for a ball. I think it was, I don't even remember, maybe my forehand and his backhand. So I might have been on the ad side. I'm not sure why, because he's usually on the ad side. And he said, me. And I still went for it anyways. And I hit him in the face with my paddle. Crazy. And, after that, it was, I don't even know how he won that match. Because Sven is kind of that way where it just takes one little thing to tick him off and then he's done. He is done. So
No, how would that have went if you had hit Sven in the face?
Listen, I was keeping my arms down at my side, so I put them straight up and straight down. I didn't even go side to side at all.
But
It
the
was nice and
worst
easy.
part is that I wasn't really apologetic about it. I was like, dude, you were in my way. Like, of course I'm gonna hit you. And then the second time it happened, it was on a paddle court. We were playing a practice match. It wasn't, anything crazy, just a practice match. And I was on the left, the overhead queen, and he was on the right. And I was like, me, because the ball came between us in the middle. But I guess Sven is a really long 6'2" or 6'3", whatever he is. So he went for the ball. I went for the ball, and my paddle hit him right in the face. Like, I whacked him.
Oh,
That was it. He didn't talk to me the rest of the match, but it's okay.
Have you guys seen that video snippet of them playing padel? It's a man and a woman, and the woman just hauls off and smacks the guy in the face going for the ball. I'll have to find that. I'll have to try to find it. I saw it on Instagram the other day and I was cracking up watching it over and over. It's like, stupid humor, but it was hysterical. I gotta see if I can find that. It was
Cut it into the YouTube video.
Yeah,
YouTube
absolutely.
That's
yeah,
right.
This
But
is the time.
speaking of bruises and all this stuff, so like I think in our quarterfinal match, like because Macie and I both wear rings on our fingers,
Oh yeah,
like
dangerous.
the nice part about playing with each other is that like I like getting really hype on the court, and I like playing with someone who can match my energy. That was like one of the coolest things. I think the first time we really kind of got into it was not really deep. I think like Short Hills was like maybe Short Hills, right?
Short Hills was big. I had
Short
some
Hills,
bruises after Short Hills.
Boston as well. We were like kind of, and I was like, wow, this is so nice to kind of.
That's what is Boston. Boston it was.
Boston is where we really kind of met on that level energy wise. And so like, and Sven, like we would go back and watch the matches and he would just rewind those parts where we would just be like murdering each other's head. He's like, holy shit, what's wrong with you guys? He's like, Lynn, look at Macie's face. Look at Macie's face. Look how pumped up she is right now. And it's just so funny to go back and watch it, but like in the moment, you're so in the moment, you don't even feel how hard you're hitting each other's hands. And then after the match, Macie will come up to me and she's like, yeah, Lynn, my finger's like purple right now.
And I'm like, it's okay. Keep coming. I'll take it. All for the high five. I love it.
It was worth it this year, right? It was a great way to end the season with the Nationals win, and certainly exciting to see what the future holds for you guys. It was fun to watch. Why don't we just so we can get you out of here at a decent time? I know it's already late on Monday night. Let's finish off with some rapid fire questions for you guys. Get to let people know a little bit more about you as people. So start off with one of my favorites. Ara, why don't you ask my favorite question, because I think you were wearing one on the trip.
Always. When you guys travel on an airplane, neck pillow or no?
No.
Please, what do we look like to you? Neck pillow?
Thank you.
I love
Exactly.
my neck pillow.
Well,
Absolutely not.
Not surprised. Not surprised.
So comfortable.
Absolutely. All right. Favorite holiday destination?
That we've been to or haven't been to?
Well, I think you'd have to go there to have it be a favorite, right?
Can I tell you in 2 weeks? I'm going to Aruba next week.
Nice. There we
I
go.
would say
Yeah.
mine to like Croatia for sure. For all the
All right.
distance.
Oh,
Croatia, yeah.
All right. I know it's been early on, but least favorite opponent to play. That doesn't mean that you don't like him, although it could, but like who do you maybe who do you not like? Would you not be happy to see in the other side of the draw?
I don't think I honestly like
I don't
it's
have anybody.
cliche, but I don't have anyone.
I don't have anybody.
I'm happy to
I don't.
play everyone. Like, give it to
Ara and Noah.
me.
You don't want to see us on the other side of the court.
Oh yeah,
The spider monkey.
Spider monkey.
Our will keep you out there for 6 hours playing the match. So
Yes, I will. I got nowhere to be.
all right.
And by the way, Ara, if Sven and I play you this weekend, I don't know, we probably won't be in the same draw, but Ara has this thing where no one has ever been able to apparently peg Ara.
It's
I've never
impossible.
played Ara before, but this is my thing this year is I'm on a hunt to peg Ara.
I'm too
Oh, I
fast.
can't wait.
It's impossible.
I will say I had heard that story before, and I played him one time, and wasn't for lack of effort, but I did miss him, and I had him lined up a couple times, so I'll get him out there. Yeah, but it is fun trying. I mean,
Don't
that's
worry,
the best
we'll
part. is
get
trying.
you, Ara. We'll get you.
I
don't
like it.
worry.
I mean,
like
Sven
that.
tried really hard at Battle Camp. He even tried to hit me on directly from a serve. Like, he tried to peg me with it, but
So-
he was unable.
Lynn, you know what you should do? Just when he's not looking, it doesn't have to be on the court. Just
Yeah.
hit
Hit
him.
him.
Just hit him. Not even on the court, not looking. just hit him.
Exactly. Just
There
hit
you
him.
go.
Impossible.
Game
Impossible.
over.
I
All
like
right.
it.
Well, so on a related note, I'm not sure that you're going to answer this one, but if you had one player to hit an FYM shot, who would it be?
I had one player that I'm going to hit a FYM shot. Does it have to hit them, or I'm hitting the FYM shot at them?
Well, just at them. You don't have to hit them.
I'm going to go for Gabby because Gabby goes for me, so that's fair.
Yeah. I
That's
would
fair,
rather
right?
choose Gabby
And
too.
then it's like you're challenging back and forth, so I'm going to go for
Absolutely.
Gabby.
All
Yeah,
right.
the amount of FYM shots I've had to get back this season isn't fair.
She
Yeah.
can get to all. She can get to all
But
of them too. Is
I
the
will
thing.
say I'm getting to them now, so keep.
Yeah,
keep going,
that was
keep
interesting.
going.
Like in nationals, like the same shot was coming at you over and over, and you just
Mhm.
then you hit it back from the service line because you were right there for it.
Well, that wasn't interesting. It's because when did it happen? Was it Boston and Detroit? And we played them. I was
Mhm.
like a space cadet, like literally looking into the air, not knowing where to run or move. And Sven, when we were watching the match, I got really mad at him because he was like, "How can you not get that? That's such an easy ball." I was like, "Yeah, that's easy for you to say. You've been playing paddle for like 10 years." So then we worked on it a little bit, probably like for half an hour. One time he was just hitting FYMs at me, and then
But this is what I love about Gabby. Is what I absolutely love because because in short hills she hit one. It was like in the tiebreaker, and it got me because I like tried to duck and I ducked too late. It got me in the face.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I go up to her, I'm like, Gabby, I'm not gonna have to wear any makeup for a while because I'm just be right here. She's like, you should have moved quicker. And I'm like, you know what, Gabby, you're right. You are 100% right. That's why I love her.
Oh.
All right. On a safer note, favorite band other than Medusa or maybe Medusa. Oh, I don't know who they are.
Favorite band. I would say my favorite band is Kurongbin.
Oh,
Probably knows them, but
I'm gonna go for the Killers.
heard of them.
What
Okay.
about favorite TV show?
oh, Vanderpump Rules, reality TV all the way.
Hmm?
Lala Kent.
Lala, are you following all this drama that's going on right now?
Yeah, well, a little bit. Not really.
Actually
No,
watching-
Noah doesn't want to hear this.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Can you please do yourselves a favor, guys? If you have not watched Vanderpump Rules, the best reality TV show of all time. I stand by.
I've
All
got favorite TV show. It wasn't a reality show, was it?
It can
Be
be
anything.
whatever you want.
Ted Lasso, 100%.
Oh, did you watch the new episode that came out last week?
Yes, and they're doing it week by week. It's not. I don't like it.
Cool.
Oh,
It's-
oh, you mean like they did in the old days? when you
I
I
could
know
just-
they're going back to the olden days. I don't like
Oh
it.
yeah.
I will also say that I'm not sure if anyone watched The Last of Us on HBO. That was pretty damn good.
I heard it was amazing, but I haven't seen it yet.
It has like 9.1 rating on IMDb. Really worth a watch. Noah, do you have anything to say?
I haven't watched TV in about 8 years, so I couldn't tell you anything. How about a favorite movie?
Caddyshack.
Everything. Oh, nice. Nice. Good choice.
What's your favorite movie?
Caddyshack.
Golf movie.
I didn't
You
know
know
that.
another
Golf
one?
movie.
Oh, that's probably
It's a
35
old.
years old.
It's a oldie.
Yeah, you got to watch that.
I would
Be
say
very
like
goody.
one of my throwback favorite movies is like The Bodyguard. To watch a lot. Really?
I
Whitney
have-
Houston? Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner? Good ass
I'll
movie.
throw in some Bull
Alright.
Durham, Kevin Costner. That's a good movie.
So can
like
I throw one in here? If there was a movie about you guys, what actor would play you?
Oh God, I don't know.
Ooh.
I know who would play me.
How's that?
Zendaya would play me.
Come on,
Very
Macy. Who
bold.
would play
No,
you?
I have no idea. I'm blanking. I have no
She's
idea.
thinking. Nothing? All right.
Let me think longer. I'll come back on that one.
We'll
All
get, we'll
right.
get that one. We'll get that one. How about the best hut in the country?
The best what? The best hut?
Best paddle hut.
I haven't been
Have
to
to
a
give
lot.
us a shot. Rolling Hills is pretty good. But the best paddle hut in the country, is it Wellesley out in Chicago?
Westmoreland. maybe.
Westmoreland. Westmoreland. That is an amazing paddle hut.
Westmoreland's
It's
nice.
so sick.
I think if you
Montclair
see
Golf Club has a pretty nice one too.
Hartford?
Montclair is a
Fun?
nice
Oh,
one.
Montclair.
This area, pretty nice hut.
That's not bad.
Westmoreland's got like the bar and the lounge
Yeah.
on the outside. Indian Trail is theirs isn't really considered a hut anymore. That's like a full-on restaurant, right?
Yeah, that is like a hut. That is
That-
a hut.
If that counts as a hut, that's the one.
I mean, it's a sports bar, basically.
It's
what
a
is
full-on
the-
restaurant.
What is the deal with huts in Chicago? Why are huts like such
Yeah,
a
it's you know what's funny is like people in Chicago who've never played outside of Chicago kind of think that that's the norm. And obviously when you guys come in from out east, I mean, you know, you go to some places in the country, like I think Cleveland now, I think the country club in Cleveland now is indoor plumbing in the hut, but like in all of Cleveland, I don't believe there's even indoor plumbing in any of the huts there. So it's
We
so
don't have indoor
different.
plumbing.
Yeah, no, and that's, I mean, like in Chicago, it's like an arms race to see who can have a better hut, and they're getting
It's-
crazy. So
Those huts are insane.
yeah, so you mentioned Westmoreland, Evanston Golf Club just built a new hut for this year that they basically did what Westmoreland did and improved it a little bit. Kind of some of the narrow hallways of Westmoreland, they widened that out, but it's virtually identical. But yeah, the huts are crazy and it's interesting. It would be fun to have maybe sometime like some GMs on or something to talk about that, because what they found, it seems like in Chicago, is that when they build these really nice huts, you get more people out to watch paddle and hang out and have a beer or watch TV or whatever, and they pay for themselves with just people hanging out. I mean, I think what COVID kind of taught us is that you need to have a reason for people to be at clubs besides just golf for 5 months of the year or however long the golf season is, you know. And so I think having a really nice hut has been great for Chicago to get people out year round. But we're definitely spoiled here for sure. It's been fun. Any rule changes you'd like to see if you were president or CEO of the APTA? What rule changes would you want to see?
I would like to see if I hit a very high lob and it bounces in and it goes all the way out, I would like for that to still count. An overhead that bounces out should absolutely not be my point, but a lob, I wish that were in.
Mm.
Does that happen?
Oh yeah.
It happens
Sure.
to me like 3 times a match. Happens so often.
So do you know, so that's been talked about before. So do you think that leads to some unintended consequences where people will go for really high lobs just to try to do that? I mean, will it
Don't get me
change things?
wrong. A couple years ago, I was like dead set on. I was like, I don't understand why this rule's in place now. Like I kind of get it, especially in warmer weather. Like I
Right.
get it, but at the same time, I was like, come on, it's an amazing lob. Why should I get punished?
Sure. All right. That might be gathering some steam. I know it's been discussed a little bit. So Lynn, how about you? Any rule changes?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, what was I going to say? Oh, when I first started playing, I thought that you could hit an FYM and it could land on the other side and still count. Like, I feel like that, I mean, then everyone would hit FYMs if that was the case, but I always thought that was pretty interesting that if it passed the net,
Although that's somewhat tough to do, right?
It's tough. That's the thing, by how many people can actually do that in
Sure.
regular paddle weather. So, but yeah, I don't know that there's any rules that I really know of that should be changed.
That is the tough thing about paddle, right? Because there's some of these rules that like, okay, well, in warmer weather, it would not make sense, and in colder weather, it would, and you just have to, you know.
Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite meal?
Pizza. I could eat pizza every single day of my life.
What kind of pizza? New York pizza, Chicago pizza. There's all different, you know.
No, there's
I
only
mean-
one kind. It's Chicago pizza.
I had some
No other
Chicago
kinds.
pizza while I was in
Nice.
Chicago, but I mean, the pizza out here that's like the wood-fired pizza, and it's thin, and then you get some, cheese and some mushrooms and red peppers on it.
I would say one of my
Benihana?
favorite.
Benihana.
Oh God. Started. I was gonna say I really like Indian food, like butter chicken and chicken tikka masala. Oh my God, chef's kiss. But yeah, let's talk about Benihanas and how like I was kind of mad. I was like, in Chicago, play the Fulton Cup. Sven is coming in with the whole entourage. He calls me. He's like, and at this point, Ryan had made dinner, and I was like, I hadn't seen Sven that day. Let me go have dinner with him. I'm like, he calls me. What do you want? Like pasta, of course. Before.
I said pasta.
Day
By the way.
before, did you say you said?
I
pasta?
said pasta multiple times.
I was kind of mad. Anyways, he's like, okay, let me call Noah and see what's around the area. Then he calls me back. He's like, we're going to Benihana's. I'm like, really? Hibachi? And he was like, yeah, Mick really wanted hibachi. I'm like, really, Mick? Really? So the best part, okay, listen to this, is we have the Benihana's. We have all the food. We're about to leave, getting the tab. Mick goes to the restroom. He stayed there for like 20 minutes. So at some point, we all got up, kind of walked to the entrance, and Mick kind of prances out, face is dripping in sweat. And we look at him, we go, are you all right? He's like, no. He's like, no, I'm
Not
not
okay.
It all came out. I was like, that serves you right for picking
That's right.
Benihanas the day before nationals.
Careful what you wish for. That's right.
Uh,
All right. How about favorite drink?
Alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
It's an open-ended question. It's your show.
I love, what do I love? I love Unshackled, the Prisoner, Cabernet Sauvignon. Hey Sven, is Cabernet Sauvignon even a thing, or am I making that up? It is a thing.
That's a
It's a
thing.
thing.
You got it. Lynn.
Cabernet Sauvignon by Unshackled.
okay.
No, that's
Sorry.
what I don't know about.
I have a drawn out answer for this because I'm a very situational drinker, and I feel like this is very important. So if I'm going to play a paddle match, I'm either having a Budweiser or I'm having an IPA. I do not have a light beer while I play paddle. It's very important. And then if I'm going out for a nice if I'm having dinner at home, then I'll have like a glass of wine. But if I'm going out for a nice dinner, you have a nice little gin cocktail first. And then you go with the dinner, you have either a Bordeaux or a Chianti. In the summer out on the beach, I'm having a rosé or I'm having a gin and tonic with orange. Very
Jeez,
specific.
that's a
Yeah.
lot to remember.
You've
No,
answered
I
this
love-
question before.
I like that.
I you know what? People ask me what you drink. I said, it depends. It depends on the situation.
Depends on the time of year too. You're right.
It depends on the time of
Like
year.
summer, I think I'm all about high noons. I can drink
I love it.
a ton of high noons over the summer and like rosé over the summer too. But I think in addition to my wine, what I've been really liking lately is Bloody Marys. Oh my gosh.
Love a good Bloody Mary.
I would love to learn how to make a good Bloody Mary.
Ryan, my mother-in-law makes the best Bloody Marys.
Really?
Yeah. She's
How
a
about
good
a
one.
Caesar? Have you ever had Caesars? Caesars, I think, are Bloody Marys, but they have Mott's Clamato instead of tomato
Oh, no.
juice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, which sounds horrible because it's clam juice and tomato juice, which
Come
sounds
on.
disgusting, but it's a great
Right.
Canadian drink.
Let's get
Yeah,
Mick drinking that.
The Caesar. Yeah, there you go. That's what he needs.
Hey, before you ask questions, I want to ask you too. Do you have any superstitions? Or
Ooh,
do
that's a
you
good
have, like,
question.
because Macie and I are like really big on that, so I want to know if you guys have any.
Yeah, I try to breathe first thing in the morning when I wake up. That's my, if I don't breathe,
If
it's
you
not
don't
gonna be a
breathe,
good
you're not
day.
gonna have a good time.
Not going to be a good day for sure. Yeah, that's it for me.
I would say, when on paddle court, when you do the flip, I always defer if I win.
Okay.
Always defer.
I just defer the choice.
Wow.
I don't want it.
It kind of gets your
You don't
opponent
want the choice.
thinking a little bit too.
Is that a superstition? I always call down. Just because I figure everyone's always positive and goes up, I always go
Yeah,
down
I always
every
call
single
up.
time.
Do the opposite. I also always
Yeah.
call up.
All right, see, there you go.
But
That's
I
a-
was
that's a
thinking more
superstition.
along the lines of like Macie and I think, which match did we wear the same clothes? It was the semifinals.
So like if we're winning,
Yeah.
like we don't have matching outfits, but we won't change our clothes. We're like, no. I don't care how bad I smell.
Because I will say this, so shout out to Ava Reynolds from Essex Fells Country Club. She's, Italian. And I think when we lost to Gabby and Roxy in the final, she's like, Lynn, you should have worn the same clothes that you wore the day before. I was like, but I didn't have time to wash. She's like, wear the same clothes. No one cares if they're smelly or not. Wear the same clothes. So after that, I was like, okay, Ava, you're right. So now, like when we're winning, we just wear the same clothes. Like it sounds pretty gross, but
Yeah,
it's superstition. It's mental. It's very mental. It's like even before nationals, I was like, Macie, like, my nails are kind of long. Should I get them done? Or should I keep these nails on since, we won last weekend? She's like, get your nails done. As long as you go to the same place, we're good.
And I
Noah, always keep your nails the same, Noah.
I try to.
From match to match.
I try to. That's a good thinking. What's
like-
your? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying before even I remembered that before 2020 nationals, like the night before, I made sure I still had like a Coors Light. So I made sure to have a Coors Light the night before semis and the finals this year. Had to.
There's something to that. It
No, but
apparently works.
I will say like superstitions, I think with athletes really big. And I'll say this goes back to when I was playing tennis. So like, I think I was in my junior year of college and I was playing a summer pro tournament in Austin. It was like a 10K futures tournament. And that was our first time going to Austin. We had never been on 6th Street. And for people who don't know, 6th Street is kind of where all the bars are and stuff in Austin.
Super fun.
Pretty fun time. So, and we had a tournament after that in Fort Worth and we were playing singles qualies. Doubles we qualied as well, but we had done pretty well. So we're in the quarters and we all like carpooled in one car. There were like 4 of us. So the girl who was driving, she needed to leave because she was out of the tournament. And we're like, well, whatever, we'll figure it out after our match. And we end up winning that match. But the night before we had gone to 6th Street, and we had drinks, we went out. So then we won the match and then we're playing semis the next day. We're like, well, we need to go out again. We won the match and then we went out again because we were in the finals and we ended up winning the tournament. And so I think I've been really superstitious ever since then.
Whatever works.
Whatever works. Yeah.
Right?
All right. So speaking of tournaments, but paddle, what's your favorite tournament? What's the best tournament you think?
I love the Short Hills Invitational. I will say that is one of my favorites. And I think it's tournaments, it's fine. The crowd is just something else, I feel like. And maybe it's because I'm in Jersey and there's a big Jersey crowd, but it's just like, I love the setup. I love the crowd. I think that's a really fun time.
Yeah, Short Hills does an amazing job. And I always love Boston. I always do. They do a great job there. And it's like in one of those tournaments that everyone's traveling to enough that everyone kind of stays over and stays in the hotel and like it's fun.
I recommend the chocolate mousse for anybody going to Short Hills. It's fantastic. My favorite part of the tournament.
That they serve in the clubhouse.
Absolutely.
I tried it. It was so good.
I didn't get any of that. I missed
Didn't
that.
I recommend that
I didn't
too?
get
No,
any either.
It was Sven. I recommended the chocolate mousse too. I think, right?
Yeah, and
I
I
told
definitely
him.
tried it. It was weird because I thought it was almost ice cream, but it wasn't. It was mousse, like
Oh,
really
yeah.
good mousse. You're right.
Yeah, highly recommend the chocolate mousse at Short Hills for anybody visiting Short Hills. So we'll have to get you some next year, Macie, for sure. I'll
I
scout
know.
it out.
I missed out.
There you go. All right. When you retire, where will you go, or where will you stay? Whose question is that, Ara? Is that yours?
No, I didn't
Wanna
put that in there.
retire?
What kind of question is that?
I didn't put that in there.
I'm just reading. I'm just
That
reading
looks
stuff
like an
off the
Ara
script.
question.
I
No,
know
not at all.
that might have been a Ben question. That, I don't even
Ben, that was
know what
definitely
that
Ben's
means.
question.
Yeah, that doesn't even mean anything. Let me see.
How about this? Though? What's the one thing that you do that drives your significant other nuts at home?
Oh, good question.
Ben, you want to come
me
on
get-
with this question?
Let me get on my list.
Come here.
He hates when I misplace my keys. I will misplace my keys and we'll be ready to go. And I'm like, oh, I can't find my keys. And be like, how? He's like, how do you have a job? I'm like, because I turn my brain off when I come home. It's
There you
very
go.
simple.
Apple AirTag, Macie.
Apple
Apple
AirTag.
AirTag.
And look at
No,
that. We've
but
got a
here, all right,
special guest
here's the
appearance.
problem.
What's
He
going
bought me
on?
one of those.
You
And
I
lost
you
it.
didn't use it. I didn't.
Oh,
Macy.
I don't use it.
jeez. All right, we've got a special guest appearance by the 2022 national champ, Sven Bursch, and we had a question for you, Sven. What does Lynn do that drives you nuts?
Oh,
What don't
The
I?
list is too long. I'm outta here.
Limit it to one. Limit it to one.
You have to answer it.
yeah.
There's too many. He's just thinking through all of them right now.
Yeah. Lynn, what does Lynn do to?
Okay, go back to bed, Sven. Sorry, we didn't mean to
Yeah.
ask you a tough question. Sorry.
No, there's too many. I can't pick one.
Nothing drives him nuts that you do. See, Lynn, that's good. That's
I'm
good.
perfect. I'm perfect.
All right, we got all right, we got the last three questions. We'll do them out of order here. I don't even like that question. I gotta make sure
It's another
I
Ben
filter-
question.
I gotta filter Ben's questions next time before. All right, we got the last two questions. What's your favorite city?
My favorite city is Cape Town, South Africa. If for anyone who hasn't been, you need to go.
Didn't they
That's
run
the
out of
thing.
water a couple years ago?
What'd you say?
Didn't they run out of water a couple years ago?
God, Noah, what? Like, really?
I'm just that's what I heard, right? Did they run out of water?
Yeah, it was a very sad time. It was like we were going through a drought and, you were only allowed to take like 3 showers a week. And it was just
Which would have been fine if you were
Yeah,
playing in
I
a tournament
remain-
because you had the
I
same
rem-
clothes.
exactly perfect for me, but I wasn't
That's
living at home at that point. But the worst part is that our main dam where we get our water from, it was at like 8%. And it's like under a certain level, obviously it's not clean drinking water. It's like all the gunk that's at the bottom of the dam. So it was a tough time for the whole country actually. So
But good now. So go to Cape Town
that's
now.
good now. Go to Cape
All
Town.
right.
Cape Town's beautiful. There's a lot to do there. So
Plenty of water now.
Plenty of water.
water, guys.
Water.
Plenty of water.
All right, Macie, besides Evansville, Indiana, what's your favorite city?
Besides Evansville, Indiana, San Diego, probably. I love that city.
Excellent choice. All right, last question. Ara, do you want to wrap it up with that last one?
Which one is it? The last one on the list?
No, not that one. That's a stupid question.
How am I supposed to know which one?
Question. I want to hear
The
the
second-
I want to hear this
Come on.
question.
second
I
last
wanna hear
question. Second
on.
last.
Who's the next player to win nationals that hasn't won yet?
Oh, that's
That hasn't won yet.
shit, I'm not thinking that.
Or
far.
we're saying Roxy and Nika.
Okay.
That's a common one. Yeah.
Roxy and Nika.
Yeah.
Lynn, you in agreement or?
I like that answer. Yeah.
What about on the men's side?
Men's side who hasn't won. Oh, has Humphreys and Felipe won?
Yeah,
Nationals? No.
he's gonna get mad at me, but Chris Humphreys and Felipe.
Why would they get mad at you?
I think Chris is tired of hearing that saying. He's tired of hearing future national champ.
Yeah. No, that's what I was gonna say earlier when we were talking.
But he
about,
is.
Like I know it's getting pretty late, but when we were talking about our season and running you through the tournaments, I kept hearing from people like, don't worry, like you're right there, Lynn, you're right there. And that was like, for me, the most annoying thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, you're right there. It's like, no, I know I should be winning it. Don't tell me I'm right there. So, it was nice to finally get.
See, and that was the question that I said was a stupid question. What do people do that annoys you the most? And you just told us. So there we go. Now we have the answer. Telling you you're right there. All right. We know it's really late and really appreciate you guys being on. An amazing season that you guys had. Really excited to see what the future holds for you. But thanks so much for being on tonight, guys. It was fantastic talking with you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys for having us.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Noah,
Absolutely.
thank you for everything you do. Xenon paddle.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Xenon paddle.
All the way. All the
Won
way.
nationals. Good nationals, Noah. All 4.
Wasn't too bad.
Second year in a row, right?
2 in a
It was
row,
fun.
Noah. Come on now.
Mhm.
So I just want to say, guys, if you're not Xenon, switch to Xenon now because
Team Xenon.
the Xenon house is coming
Love it.
out.
Love it. Love
Xenon
it.
house is coming.
Lynn and I are renegotiating our marketing for Noah. So
There we go.
Xenon.
Love it. Thank you, guys. Thanks for everything. Thanks for being on tonight, guys. It was
All
fun.
right. Thanks
All
for
right.
having us. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Take
All
care.
right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. We had a fun show tonight with Macie Medeiros and Lynn Kiro. Ara was working on about 3 hours of sleep and been up for 20 hours, but he was a trooper. Ben not feeling so well, so he took the day off, but hope you enjoyed the show. Also, I forgot to mention, we touched on it briefly, but the Wilton Open was just recently occurred. Fantastic charity event in Wilton, Connecticut. 240 players, certainly one of the biggest events in the country, especially for charity. If you missed it this year, try to make it out for next year. Thanks for listening.